All right, let's talk about this offense. It's interesting because I remember at the beginning of the season thinking, man, this team, actually, this started last season. You and I had these conversations where we talked about and said, this team is starting to turn more into an offensive team. That being said, I still worried about playing the elite quarterback. What happens when they play the elite quarterback? If they're in the playoffs, they get into a shootout. Can this team win in a shootout? Can this team score with a minute left and no timeouts? For me, Sunil, I feel really, really good about this offense where it's at. I feel really, really good about having Brock Purdy at quarterback. Feel really good about all the offensive weapons. This team over the last 2-3 weeks has shown to be more explosive than they have all season. Now, it has been a little bit at the detriment of time of possession, but the 49ers are showing they can win in a multitude of different ways with this offense. I think, for me at least, this question has been answered with a resounding yes. They can win in the shootouts when the playoffs come and they play the elite quarterback. But what is your thought? You agree? You disagree? If you agree, this is like the only time on the show that that's ever going to happen. But
well, it's a bad time. It's about time pessimistic Jesse got off of the show because sheesh. What did you think? My guy Kyle Shanahan wasn't gonna finally find his quarterback, and now we get to see what was unlocked. Look, I have been stating, and I don't want to make this a Kyle Shanahan rant, but the only thing that was holding back Kyle Shanahan from fully unlocking everything in this offense was he didn't have the right quarterback, right? And finally, he has the right quarterback. And whether or not you want to argue, hey, is he elite? Is he a top 5? Is he MVP? Is he just as good as 15 other quarterbacks like the topic we're going to be mentioning after this? He's perfect for what Kyle Shanahan needs. He processes the game extremely quick. He has a quick and accurate release, and on top of that, he has mobility to gain time to let the routes develop when they need to develop. Mix that with Kyle Shanahan's ability to just like get dudes extremely wide open. Deebo Samuel wide open in the end zone. CMC wide open for a touchdown where he could fall down, get back up, and still score. Like, these are supposedly the two best players on the team on offense, and they're like nobody's even accounting for them. Insane, right? So yeah, I think for me, my philosophy always, Jesse, is the team that could win the most ways, to me, is the team that I would bet on. And not only can the 49ers win in a multitude of ways, meaning the defense could be the reason why they win, the offense could be the reason why they win, special teams could be the reason why they win. If you just even break it down into the offense itself, they could win on 3 different layers. They could win with the run, they could win with the deep ball, and then they could also win dinking and dunking, right? And to me, that's really, really tough because whatever you try to take away from a defensive perspective, 49ers not only have one counterpunch, they have multiple counterpunches on how they could switch up their game and still be successful and move the ball down the field. So I'm absolutely confident that no matter, even if Patrick Mahomes' 2019 version of that offense or the best version of Patrick Mahomes' offense is there, I think that this team could still score, and we still have a top 5 defense that can hold opponents to under 15 points whenever they want to.
Yeah, I wish I knew how everybody felt in the 2019 run for the 49ers before the playoffs, not after the Minnesota Vikings game, because I think a lot of people were like, oh gosh, what is happening here with Jimmy Garoppolo? But that team was scoring 29.9 points a game. Team was putting up a lot of points. That
But it was
team did
different.
it well.
Go ahead,
I'm going to ask you why. I'm going to ask you why here in a minute. So hold tight on that one. But that team did win a shootout in New Orleans. And New Orleans that year was kind of the favorite in the NFC. And the 49ers went in there after losing to the Ravens, won a shootout in their dome. And that was a big, big deal. Why is it different? And when did we know that it was different? Like at this point in the season for the 49ers, did we know it was different for the 2019 team then, or did it take that Minnesota game for people to really wake up to what Jimmy G potentially might be or his flaws might be?
I think that the offense never looked like this in 2019. Like they were scoring, that we were winning, but we all knew it was product of the defense and based off of field position, all of those types of things. What the defense was doing was making it easier for the offense to score the way that it is. And outside of that New Orleans game, Jesse, the 49ers offense, if the running game wasn't dominant, the offense didn't look good. And luckily, the running game was ranked number 2 that year. I think they averaged over 140 yards per game. And that was the way we were winning. That three-headed monster of Coleman, Breida, and Mostert, like that's where our explosive plays were coming from. Whereas now our explosive plays are coming from everybody and everywhere, right? We're about in 2019, we had nowhere near 4 skill players that were going to have over 1,000 yards in offense. Right now, we're about to have that. Right, we have a running back that's already has 20 touchdowns. Debo scored 10 touchdowns, 5 rushing, 5 in the past game. Ayuk has 6 touchdowns, over 1,000 yards. Kittle, so it's like the weapons, everybody wasn't getting fed the way that they're getting fed right now at the way that they're getting fed. And I think we do kind of know, Jesse, and we know because in 2019, I can't point to a time where the defense was like, we just know if we give them enough opportunities, the offense is going to go for 40 points. We just know if we do our job, the offense is going to score enough points to win the game. We weren't hearing stuff like that. And sometimes, based off of that it wasn't being said. And now it is being said, right? Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, Greenlaw. We've heard all of these guys talk about how this offense is the most dominant offense that they've ever been a part of. And they know if they just like do what they're supposed to do, the offense is going to figure it out and score 30, 40 points. And I think we know how excited they are about that and how it's different because that's not things that they were saying in 2019.
No, it definitely was not things that they were saying. But I just want to point this out. And I don't disagree, by the way, because I definitely feel different now. But I think when we were in the middle of that ride, we felt really good about this offense too. That's the only point I'm trying to make. Now, in hindsight, we know, and we're like, okay, maybe we shouldn't have felt that great about that offense. But I'm going to go through some of the scores that the 49ers put up that season. 41 points, 51 points, 36 points, 37 points, 48 points, 34 points, 31 points, 31 points, 37 points. This team did put up some points in some of these games. I mean, a 51 spot, a 48 spot. They were scoring now. 48 was against New Orleans. 51 was against the Panthers. 41 against the Bengals. Let's see. 37 against the Packers. 34 against the Rams. 36 against the Cardinals. 37 the second time versus the Packers. So they were scoring some points.